So this past year has definitely accelerated the need to work from home and do more online collaboration. So whether you're doing a job interview or hitting the podcast circuit or just talking with some friends, it's good to always have a high quality home audio video set up for any type of online video chat just to make sure that you stand out. So in this edition of the studio, we're going to talk about how you do just that, how you set up a nice little home online studio for any video conferencing. So the first and most important thing is having high quality audio. No matter how good your video feed is or your video setup is, it doesn't matter if people can't hear you. So we produced a few videos talking about how you can pick the right microphone and improve your microphone quality. You can check them out by clicking the links above. But the most important thing is to make sure that the microphone is as close as possible to you as it can be, because if it's close to you, then it won't pick up the surrounding noise. Like right now, it's raining right now, so hopefully it doesn't pick too much of that up, but it picks up more of your voice. And then also a lot of things that you have to deal with is noise. So like I said, it's raining, there's noise. So you can use noise removal technology. There's things like NVIDIA Broadcast, which will remove the background noise, or you can use different mics. Like right now I'm using a cardioid mic, which is gonna pick up everything around me. But like if I was doing this with the rain and I expected it, I could actually use a dynamic microphone, which will cut out a lot of that background sound. All right, the first thing we talk about when we talk about video sources is gonna be the lighting. I think a lot of people disregard this. It's really important to have lighting so it doesn't look like you're in a dungeon, unless that's your aesthetic. But basically the most important thing you want is turn on any light you can that you have available. If you don't have dedicated lighting, turn on a room light, whatever you can. But if you wanna, shape light and make things look a bit more flattering, you're gonna wanna get dedicated lighting. So the most important light is the key light here. This is what's gonna light most of you. So if you can get a nice strong key light, that does most of the work. If the light is a bit too harsh, get some type of light modifier. Like this has a softbox to make the light a bit more soft. So you can use a shirt or whatever you can. But one good trick is just to bounce the light. So if you have like white walls or light colored walls, you can point the light towards the wall. It'll bounce towards you, or use any kind of reflective surface. That'll give you nice soft light. Another thing too is your camera. So most people are gonna be using webcams. Totally great place to start, and if you have good lighting, that'll get you as far as you need to go. But if you want to stand out a bit more, maybe you have a mirrorless camera or something laying around. Some of these cameras can actually work through USB. There's special software for them. But also you can just buy a capture card and hook the HDMI out into the capture card of your camera, and you just need to make sure that it has a clean video output feed or a clean HDMI feed. This is usually kind of buried somewhere in your camera. So the last thing is your mise-en-scène or your background setup. Do what you can. If you have a nice clean looking background, kind of reflects your personality or reflects who you are. So you can tidy it up or organize it, maybe put some decoration or some lighting behind it. But if you don't have the space or the budget to do all that, you can actually use a handy tool called XSplit VCam. So with XSplit VCam, you can actually just blur out your background, or it'll make your webcam look like a fancy DSLR. Or you can just replace the background altogether. You can actually add any type of media files. So any image or video file. You can add a YouTube video link, or you can look through Unsplash and pick any type of image file. You can even blur these new changed backgrounds as well. So really helpful tip to basically put yourself wherever you want to be. One thing I will say though is with your background, you don't want it to be too distracting. So try to avoid the crazy strobe lights or things that'll make it hard for people to focus on the conversation. So some other additional tips is if you're doing a job interview or just any type of online interview, one thing is it's good to put some bullet points or some talking points. This is basically so if you kind of lose your train of thought or you get thrown a curveball, you can glance over to it and have some notes to kind of guide you on what you need to say. And also if you're doing a job interview, do some research on the company that you're going to be applying to, find out the company culture, who you might be talking to, and what your strengths might be for that company or that position. Another thing too is, make sure to get some water if you're going to be talking for a long time. You don't want to lose your voice. And also, if you need to get up at any point in time, VCam actually has a pause feature, so you can just pause the camera, if you need to get up and walk away for a moment. Let people know, so they're not talking to a staring void, but it's a really handy tool. But I want to know from you, do you have any tips for doing online interviews or preparing for them? What type of lighting do you use, if you use any lighting at all? Let me know in the comments. Thanks again for watching, and hope to see you again next time in the studio.